This is what made Callie a coin collector, and we are going to move into the last 30 years of the Indian head cents. Now, this is from 1880 to 1909. This is so collectible. This is on 4Flex too, which is fantastic. $49.99. Mike, I thought we had more than this.
No.
No.
And not only do I not have more than, well, we may have, I bet you we sold a bunch on the, I loaded 500 coins. I suspect 50 or 60 of these were either in back or pre-selling, could have been on hsn.com, because this is not a set. Perhaps we can check. I think it's been probably a couple of months since I've sold this.
Yeah, I know it's the only airing today.
It's the only airing on the day. So here's what this comes down to. The Indian head cent is one of the most beloved of all American coins, okay? One of the most beloved of all American coins. It was last made in 1909, which is also the first year that the United States government made the Lincoln cents. So here is all the Indian head cents, and these are 100% original, not reprinted, restruck, or redone in any way, shape, or form. So you get 30 contiguous years, 1880, 81, 82, 83. Now, if you look at our price, we're about $6 a coin. And here's the amazing part. Go out there to find this could be one of the single most difficult kind of modern issue, and I know it's hard for you to say, but in coins, 1880 to 1909 is still a modern issue.
Really?
Modern issue coins to be able to get. This coin alone, I have a nationally advertised catalog. The 1909 coin alone, $52. This coin alone is $52.
Just one.
This coin is $52. If I look at the 1880, the 1881, 82, 83, 85 is the key coin here. This 85, I think, is $67.50 for the 1885.
What makes it the key coin, the 85?
It's the hardest one to get. They just don't exist out there. You have to understand, this coin was made in 1885. One of the other really cool things about the Indian head cents that you see right here, one of the really great things to my mind, is they were really only made at the Philadelphia Mint until 1908. So this is not only the last 30 years, it's a complete collection through there. So instead of $6 a coin, so the 1880s, when you're looking at this and the earliest one they have listed in here, all of these coins are $13, $14, $15, $16 a piece. This one's $52. This one's, I think, like $67.50. The 1883, this coin right here, also extremely difficult at about $63.50.
So it'd be well over the $199.95.
Oh my goodness. There's just almost no way to put these coins together individually, period, let alone for $199. As a matter of fact, I have them coin by coin by coin. If you were buying this individually, we're well in excess of $400 for this, particularly because the 1880s part right up here, the 1880 through 1889, those are the coins that are significantly difficult to get. We've often sold the last 10 years. We've sometimes sold the last 20 years. What we don't sell is the last 30 years. Now, here's the other amazing part of this. Each and every one of these coins, so here's that incredible coin, comes in their own individual airtight holder. These airtight holders, these are called direct fit airtights. They're about 59 cents a piece at retail. You get 30 of those. So you get 20 bucks worth of holders. There it is, that kind of absolutely iconic American coin that's not been reprinted, restruck, or redone in any way, shape, or form. This is a 100% American original.
And it's copper.
And it's copper. All the original copper to this as well. So you have coins that literally have not been made in well over a century or a century and a quarter. So what you have is the completeness of the set. And on a coin by coin by coin by coin basis, like I said, the 1880, the 1881, I think this one's like $23 as you go down here. You get here $67, $57 for the 83s. And those are coins that's a good price if you can find them. And that's the key.
That's part of the challenge.
Once you say, as you said, this is the set. And I remember this because I was selling this set with Callie on the air one of the last times I did it, several months ago. She left. She walked away. Didn't leave. Walked over just offset. And she went on her phone and literally bought her set because it was selling out.
Right.
And she's been so happy with that, has become a coin collector over that. So that's what this set is. So the other thing to understand and to realize with this, these are not reprinted. These are not restruck. These are not redone. This coin was made in Philadelphia in 1880. And instead of $6 a coin, our price, okay, we're at $23.50, $32.50, $18.95.
You said, well, it was over $400.
Well,
right?
over $400. Yeah, if you add them all up, buying them individually, because it is really your only option to buy these individually. I don't know anybody else that sells the last 30 years of Indian Head scents because they are so phenomenally and incredibly difficult to get and difficult to obtain. That's the key to this, is they simply aren't available in the marketplace. And this is the defining coin for us, is the 1885. The only reason I was able to get the 1885s is there was a guy whose kind of life's work all of a sudden became getting the 1885 Indian Head scents. I don't know why. Was
he hoarding them?
He was hoarding them, absolutely. And then what he did...
That's what we coin collectors do.
That's right. And then he comes to me and offers them to me, of course, at an accelerated price, we'll call it. And I said, really? He says, Mike, you're not going to get them any other place. And I go, you know, you're right.
He's got you there, Mike.
He got me there.
Yes.
So I went ahead and I stepped up and we bought the coins, and I understand that, and I understand what I had to do, but I have the 1885s. I've got more than probably anybody else on the planet, which is the reason I can offer this set. I don't think there's any doubt about that. So what's happening here is we're getting very busy. I started with a little over 500 sets. We're going under 400 sets. We have hundreds of people on the phone because...
And 3 minutes, or not even 2 minutes left on the clock.
Oh, goodness,
as well.
yeah, we got 2.5 minutes, yes.
Plus, you've got the 4 flexible payments of $49.99. You just heard Mike say the difficulty, the rarity, and being able to put this entire set together, to be able to get the last 30 years of the Indian Head scents. This is also, my husband loves to collect the Indian Head scents as well, and I do. I hear him. I know he's trying to put together a set, and it is difficult if you're doing it coin by coin. Well, Mike, because he has been in the industry 20+ years, he is the real deal. He has connections beyond what any of us can even imagine to be able to get the values, to be able to put these sets together exclusively here at HSN. You take advantage of the 4 flexible payments at $49.99 on 4 monthly installments. But Mike, when we do individually coin by coin, and to be able to do this set, you still always have a 30-day money-back guarantee, but you will be so impressed.
Well, I've got all of them. I got some of them left, some of them they don't even have available in this catalog, like the 1886. But the lowest price, as you can see in here, the lowest price is $8.95.
Right.
That's the lowest price. That's their lowest price. We're $6 basically across the board.
Across the board.
And you see this one at $52.
I just saw something at $45.
Well, that's actually gone up. I got this from the brand new catalog, 52. Wow. So from 45 to 52. The 94 in here in the middle, $23.50, $15.95, $19.95, $21, you know, $49.50. I mean, the pricing on these are so far beyond the $6 that they have the most common available coin.
And Mike, we just had our left counter up there. I know you just missed it, but at 362, it's going to pop back in there for you because there is a little bit of urgency here, Mike. This is not like Mike can snap his fingers and get another 500 of these.
This is one of those things where I'm like, and that's the thing people don't understand. It's not like I make the coins.
No,
the government frowns on that. Yeah, they frown on that. They call it counterfeiting, and I wouldn't do well in jail. Okay,
no,
so I'm going to go and only get the coins that are available. And so what that means is the number of these that come to me, the number of these that I have are strictly limited by how many of the 1885s were hoarded by some guy in Arizona. Okay, literally. And I found them, and he had 5. Now you have to understand, in a course of a coin world, 500 really isn't that many.
No.
You know what I'm saying? It's just not that many. And I got them all. So that's what the situation is. I have them all. Yeah, and I understand, and you can see this. We have 325 we're showing. We literally have hundreds of people on the phone.
And I know the clock did just go down. We're going to stick here for 1 minute to make sure everybody gets their order in.
Well, some people were asking, okay, so are you missing any coins here? And what we have is this is a complete date set. And until 1908, only the Philadelphia Mint made these. So this is basically a complete Philadelphia Mint set of the last 30 years. There's no S mints, there's no Denver mints until you get down here. And then like the 1908 S is a $500 coin or a $1,000 coin or something like that. But the 1909, remember, the first year of the Lincoln cent was also 1909. So they didn't make many 1909 Indians. Okay, so because of that, that's why this is the last coin in the set is a $52 coin.
And they're really
is a $52
beautiful.
coin. They're stunning. They've got this patina on them. This is what I would look like if I was 130 years old. No. No, I wouldn't look this good.
I plead
Nobody
the fifth.
would.
No comment.
Yeah, right, huh?
I'm just kidding.
Look
and
at that.
Mike, I was thinking if you have, an Indian in you, or you have the Indian legacy heritage in your family, and Callie was talking about that with her son, and that was one of the reasons that she picked this up. And I just think this is such a beautiful set.
One last thought, as we have just about as many people as we have sets, is remember, these coins are 100% original. They're not reprinted, the value's there clearly. They're not been reprinted, restruck, or redone in any way, shape, or form. They are 100% original Indian cents from 1880 to 1909 every single year.
Absolutely. So 424-438. We will let you know when these are completely sold out. With everybody calling in, we maybe have 80 left. And that actually probably far less than that. I take that back. So continue to call in.